You will never be able to build a business if you continue acting like an employee. Having worked with hundreds of financial services professionals, advisors, and business owners since 2019, I see the same challenges over and over again. You believe the work that's going to move the needle is working in the business, when actually it's working on the business. If your business cannot run, create profit, and still move forward without you, then you've not created a business, you've just created another job. This whole episode is going to be about how you make that transition from employee mindset, from having self-employed business owner job, into actually having something that can grow and run without you. Just take our client Dean, who we interviewed just only a couple of weeks ago, who was technically self-employed, but underneath someone else's brand and someone else's business. He then put his big boy pants on and moved into the world of building his own brand, his own business as an AR of another network. And whether you're in the financial services space or whether you are business owner elsewhere, this is going to 100% apply to you, because I see too many people in that early phase stuck, trapped because of this mindset that they have and because of not doing things in the right order, as I equally spoke to you about last week in the 4 phases of building £1 million business. So the trap is that when you start out self-employed, just as I did back in 2006, I was bloody awesome at my job, but I didn't learn how to be a business owner. And you go into this whole technician mindset. You're brilliant at your craft, but you're trapped in delivery. You don't put enough focus and energy into learning marketing, putting in systems, understanding sales, leadership, management, and letting go in order so that you can grow. Delegation is fundamentally key to get that first hire into the business, your PA, your administrator, that support person to keep you moving forward. Because if your business solely relies on you, if you can't go on holiday and don't have to spend the whole time fighting fires, answering calls, issuing invoices, getting rid of all the lower value activities, I'm sorry to say you have just got another job. You're probably working more hours for less pounds per hour, and you're carrying all the stress, worry, anxiety, and burden with it as well. My belief that is self-employed startup phase is failure. You have to push to being a business owner with a team and specific people in specific roles. I want to stress that I carried my employee mindset, having gone self-employed in the 2006, probably up until 2017. My first 10 years in business, while I had a team of 15 people who were doing almost 7 figures a year, we had really good 6-figure profits. I was the first in. I was the last out. I was the manager. I was firefighting. I was dealing with all the problems. I was back to work 3 days after my first daughter was born. I was spending 20 grand a month on low quality life insurance leads. I never did any marketing outside of buying leads. I didn't understand how to really generate leads or appointments for my team. I was just great at running spreadsheets and saying, this is what we spend, this is how many leads we get, this is how many deals we do, and this is the money that it makes. But that was stressful. What changed for me in 2016 when I started all over again was the identity shift that I had to go through. Dean and I spoke about this on the episode a couple of weeks ago as well, and I speak to my clients about it all the time. You have to take ownership of the day-to-day. And rather than asking, what do I need to do today? You ask the question of, what do I need to build that's going to make the business run without me? Where am I best allocating my time to get the best bang for my buck? Who do I need to give the £10 tasks to so I can do more £100 tasks? This week, I've had so many conversations with some of our newer clients who have got the income there, but they're leaving, say, the life insurance on the table. Therefore, they are leaving cash sitting, waiting to be dealt with. If they immediately were able to create the capacity, because they're not doing as much admin, to do those sales, they would be putting another 4, 5, 6, maybe even £10,000 in their bank. And yet they're worried about taking on a PA or administrator that would immediately not just give them more time, but help in putting that £10,000 on there. And they're worried about paying them £2,000 as an example. It's crazy, but it's the identity shift that you need to have from employee to manager and leader. Team, just jumping into this episode because this is really important for you to take 3 minutes to do. We have the Scale Scorecard. It's a way for you to diagnose and identify the problems, challenges, and bottlenecks that you're currently facing in your business. It's been completed by more than 1,000 business owners, a lot of whom are in financial services, and it will show you exactly where you can focus next to save time, to increase revenue, to provide a better service, and to make your business better. It takes under 3 minutes. Click the link in the show notes or the description right now. Take the Scale Scorecard. You'll be given a personalized report directly to your inbox as soon as you've completed it. Some of the foundational principles that we get our clients to put in place when they make that transition, like Dean, from being a self-employed individual into being a business owner, is first thinking about building a brand that actually represents you and stands for what you believe and what you stand against. We then think about putting in systems that can get rid of all of that foundational, boring tasks, monotonous things that you don't need to be doing over and over again. Even as simple as having an email for every step of your customer journey. If you can't click a button and that pre-populates, that's so much time that's wasted with every single client that you speak to. Then when you've got that bucket that you're of business completely filled, no leaks in it whatsoever, you then go on to the marketing and the lead generation journey and driving in people who, when you're slowly but surely building your leads, will naturally lead to more appointments. This structure is what helps you to begin to scale. Then you're working on every sale and maximizing the value of every opportunity. You're using the tech to deliver the outcomes and to help speed up and make things more efficient. With AI and technology now, it can do the job of a human, which reduces your staff costs and keeps your profitability so much higher. It's about building a business that you own and that can run, rather than the business running you and it owning you. There's so many reasons why business owners don't make that shift. And it is hugely the fear. You know, all of a sudden, if you're paying your salary and your wage and your family's lifestyle, you've then got to start thinking about paying somebody else's. It's also then the time to get the return on that investment, because having a team member is not a cost. It's an investment in creating more capacity and therefore more time for you to focus on the higher value activities. Maybe there's an element of not just fear in investing in people, but also comfort zone. You know, if you're staying in control and it's just you and you're constantly worrying about if someone would do it as good as you, you know, that's why your income is capped. The average mortgage advisor does £60,000 a year typically. That's rubbish. Like, this job easily should be able to get over £100,000 a year working really smart rather than working really hard. It's just a case of systems, team, and time to focus on higher value activities. Another big thing I see is the fear of failure. You know, worrying about building something bigger means more risk. Now, in all of this, there are seasons. We can't act at high performance 365 days of a year. The business works in seasons. You'll have periods where you're slower, periods where you're walking, running, jogging, sprinting. And it's knowing when to have those periods of time suitable to not just the seasons in the year, but also in your business growth journey. Because sometimes if you've gone through a big phase of growth, you need a period of plateauing whereby you work on the back end, whereby you tweak and improve and systemize and simplify and perfect certain key areas. If you bring someone into a business, the last thing you want to be doing is pushing growth, because that's where something will go wrong. But it all comes back to having a crystal clear strategy of what you're going to do each and every single quarter, each and every single year, where you want to be in 3 years. And you can't systemize, you can't scale, you can't even simply grow your profit by 20% a year if you don't let go. So as I think about that journey of talking to Dean just a couple of weeks ago, you know, when he joined us, he was doing around about 2 to 5K per month. And he's now hitting 15 to 18K consistently every single month. He's gone from an employee mindset under someone else's brand into having his own business. He's now got an office, he's now got an administrator, and he's looking at taking on an advisor and taking his growth to the next level. He has the system, he has an audience, and he does content consistently, not as consistently as he necessarily wants, because what happened, as he mentioned on that, he was doing content, he got busy, and what did he do? Was stop the thing that made him busy, instead of pulling it back just a little bit or starting to bring somebody in to help with that, to keep it growing and growing consistently. But he's now having more time off. He's now being more consistent. He's more in control of the day to day. And the same principles apply for you. as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as a financial services advisor. The identity shift is what creates the space for the opportunity. And that identity shift all starts with your mindset. It's knowing where you want to get to, in the same way that if you want to build muscle, it takes time to grow. It gets stronger the more you use it. Every hire that you make, and unfortunately in my journey, every fire that I've made, that muscle gets stronger. You have to understand that business is not an emotional sport. It's a logical one. And if you allow yourself to build that mindset muscle, which one of the best ways to do it is to put yourself around other people that are doing it, and in a community and an environment where it's normal to take on an admin, to take on a social media person, to build a business, to generate 300 leads a month, to hit £100,000 a month in revenue, your mindset will naturally grow much quicker. I've always had this belief since I was a child. If I played sport with someone better than me, I'm going to learn much quicker. So I have always, naturally, because of sport, put myself in uncomfortable situations where I am the worst person in the room. That's how I have grown and developed myself over the years, because I've taken the same mindset in business. And I don't believe in jumping from mentor to coach for most people. But because when I typically go into these rooms, my competitive nature, the sports mentality that I have, the athlete kind of mindset that I bring to things, I generally work up the ranks, shall we say, in those rooms. And there's a need, as my turnover has grown and as my business has grown, to find different mentors and find different groups so that I can continue my learning and develop myself so I can pass that knowledge on to my clients. Each time I've started again, I've got back to where I was in a third, 2/3, maybe a quarter, 3/4 of the time, because I'm able to implement what I've done before much quicker. So, in summary, if you want to build a business that gives you time, gives you freedom, gives you fun and fulfillment, stop acting like an employee and get yourself around people that are going to help you to improve your mindset and raise your energy and act in a more high performance nature. You can't sprint all year long. You have to work strategically, and knowing the next move that you need to make that helps you to achieve your goal is exactly why I believe everybody should have a coach, a consultant, or a mentor who's been there, done it, and got the t-shirt, because then they can give you the coaching, the support and the guidance, but they can also tell you what pitfalls to potentially avoid, and get yourself around a community of other people that are doing it too, where that high level of performance is normal. There's no point in playing average. You get one shot at this life. You'd rather build one business and build it to the best of your ability without sacrificing your health, your mindset, your vitality, your time with your family and everything else. If you've liked this video, then please make sure that you do subscribe to the channel, because then we can send you notifications every week when we release one. Make sure you do leave me a comment below, because we always utilize the comments. One, I reply to them. Two, we use it to formulate other ideas for videos down below. If you're listening on the podcast, then it's sometimes worth checking out the YouTube videos as well, because I get the iPad out, or I might draw on a board, or we put in a live speak from when I've done a presentation somewhere. But no matter where you're watching or listening on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever it is, I think we're at like 390 episodes now since March of 2019. So if you come on this journey with me, I hugely appreciate it. I love every message that I get, like from Ant McQuillan this morning saying superb episode today. I love to keep the connection going and having good conversations. And if you need help building your business, then always check out the show notes, because my team put links in there for you to understand what your next steps are to building a business that gives you time, freedom, control, profit, and autonomy over how you spend your time. Peace out. See you next week.